I'm in the spirit. I'm in the spirit. Ba, 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 na, na. Da, 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 da. Da, da. Welcome, welcome. Good morning and welcome to today's episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption Incompetence. Today is Monday, the 23rd day of December, 2 days away from Christmas Day 2024. Welcome, welcome one and all. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I hope that you are looking forward to a Merry, Merry Christmas. I want to take this opportunity to wish all my students Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2025. We have so much to tell you this morning. I'm in the mood, the joyous mood for Christmas, the joyous mood for Christmas. I suspect some of you would say, my colors reflect that. Yes, my colors reflect the mood that I'm in, very joyous for this holiday. Welcome, welcome. Share the live. You know the usual thing, share the live. This is Christmas. Christmas is a time for sharing. So share the live. And when you look at the scroll at the bottom too, you will also contribute to the upkeep of this program. So share. Welcome. Another day, another great day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. Many persons will not have been this fortunate. So give praise and thanks all the time. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. The 2 days away from Christmas. And as we are into the season of Christmas, don't forget the reason for the season. Yes, drink, eat, and be merry. But remember, it is the birth of the Christ child, the anniversary of the birth. That is what we Christians believe. People will say, oh, it's not the actual date. That doesn't matter. It's the recognition that the Savior was born on Christmas Day. So give thanks, give praise. My colleague, Mr. Conway, is already in the studio. I want to take this opportunity to apologize to you. When we had last week, Wednesday, had some technical difficulties. But as we tell you, nothing will prevent us from coming here and bringing you credible, valuable information. Had some terrible issues. Those of you around would have seen. You couldn't see me, the thing going around all the time. So eventually, I had to come out of the studio and then I came back in. And that is what resolved that issue. This morning, I came out of the studio by accident. And when I came back in, the first 52 or 53 comments were removed. So the people who came in first, you're not going to see your names on the blackboard, so to speak. But I'll call it nevertheless because it's a record. So give praise, give thanks for being allowed to see this new day. The 23rd of December, 2024. A great day. Another great day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice. Let's be glad in it. Season for giving, as I said. I hope that you all have a wonderful Christmas. Wonderful Christmas. Eat, drink, and be merry. Don't overdo. And remember the less fortunate ones, Remember the less fortunate ones. I over the past couple of years, one of the big regrets that I have at Christmas time is that I'm not able to share the hampers that I used to some years ago. Circumstances are right now preventing me from doing that. But I hope and I pray that very soon I'll be able to start back. And not only at Christmas time, but I always look out for people around me, always. And they can tell you, many of them are on this live from time to time. If they're not on the live, they see the program. I always look out for those around me. That is the nature. That is the nature. So I say to you, as you go about celebrating your holiday, you cook your garlic, you make your garlic pork, your pepper pot, whatever else. I want to know you bake your cake. In my case, cake already baked. Garlic pork set. This morning, I start my pepper pot. As a matter of fact, I have to turn off the fire to come and to engage with you. So important, I believe, is this engagement. Turn off the pepper pot. Pepper pot is there. So by this afternoon, that's going to be finished. And then you're left with draw. You know the thing, consumer thing, draw. And the reason why I haven't completed this yet, I did it the old-fashioned way. No pressure cooker. Put it there to boil. And that is what I will do. Kawil, of course. Kawil. What else? Oxtail. Some trotters. And later on, some little piece of pork and so on. And let me tell you this. I got a friend, Toffee. Toffee said pepper pot must get pork. I want to hear your views. Tuffy told me that pepper pot must get pork inside. He said if it doesn't have pork, it is not pepper pot, it is beef stew. That is what Tuffy said. You can call it pepper pot, but in essence, it is beef stew. It must have pork in order to be pepper pot. I know many people will differ. Some people don't eat pork, some people don't eat that. Whatever it is, make sure you eat and be merry and enjoy. This kid, let's say Christmas is the time for the kids. At this time, I am a kid. I am a kid because I'm going to enjoy. No one or nothing will stop me from enjoying Christmas. This is my time of the year. I love the holiday, Christmas holiday, to get not to do anything extravagant, not to get any diamond ball and all the lobster and all of these things, pay $50,000 and all these tone deaf arrangements. No. I ain't involved in that. I'm going to eat with little pepper pot in the morning with bread and so on, garlic pork. Later on, I'm going to get me ginger beer and my sorrel. Yeah, all of those things are going to be made available. Yeah. So let me go to run through the roll call very quickly, and then we make some announcements, and I'm going to bring in Mr. Conway. As I said, the first, let me see the number. The first 52 persons who came on this morning at 7 o'clock when the program was scheduled, they are out of the comments. So here we go with the people who came in first. The first person to come on 7 o'clock, we had Tessa High, then Kenneth, and that's Kenneth the Fairmont. Aileen was here, Evelyn, Vibert, and this Vibert Larson. Baled, the man from Linden, Gibbo is here, Charlene, the original black man, Wayne from the UK, Carlton Lewis, my squad mate, was here very early, Anthony Jarvis, we had Derek Trotman, Gaston, my squad mate from Canada, Ezzy, Courtney, Sean from New York State, New York, Brian Saul, we have Dexter McAllister, Kevin Adonis, Barbara Barrington, Raul Semple, Raul is here very early, Joan Robinson from New Amsterdam, Anthony Bradshaw, the man from Petersall, he was here early, Raul George, he said that he's in Connecticut. We have Jakey from Maryland, Lyndon Rees, George Calder from BV, Michael Sturge, the man from Imbimadai. I said, love to see him on Imbimadai. Then we had Sydney Fredericks, the Canarook man, came in at 7:06, Peter Noons. And then we had another Vibert John, Cecil Ogle, Mary Smith from Brooklyn at 7:07, she came on. Then we had Felicia Lewis, Aubrey Graves-Zandi, Evelina Whitaker, Floyd Tappin, Bonita came on at 7:12, John Cummins, Queenie White, Marlon Appa came on at 7:14, Wayne Kesnew at 7:15, Clarence Watson, Pauline McPherson, Emerson, Ivla, Simo is here at 7:19, Audrey, Matthew, that's Matthew Dennison, Patricia Graves-Zandi, and the last man to have been struck off was Smitty. Vibert the knockout out of the comment. Smitty came on at 7:22. Oh, they also knocked off Earl Abrams. He came off as well. And the first person reflected here is Yagi from Bobby's. Sagi is here. Diane, Sandra, Denzel, Isla. Then we have Terrence from Canada, 97-95. Carl, my squad mate from Arizona, is here. Morton, Wayne Innes, and Wayne reminds us that he is retired Assistant Superintendent Innes. I remember you very well, Wayne, the refrigerator man from the transport workshop there. Of course, I remember you. Glendis is here. The one and only BX from New Jersey now is here. Carlisle is with us. Clifton, Pastor Smith is here. Then we have Umi is on. Rhonda, there's Rhonda Chance, Marva, Patricia, Carl, Sandrine, Everett from Texas. Russ Ricardo is here. Clifton from all the way from Paris. Fergus, Anthony. And Anthony is from, look at this. Anthony is following us from Istanbul. Istanbul is in Turkey. Istanbul is not one of them coders knocked down upon them new highway. Istanbul is Turkey. So all the way in Turkey, Anthony is watching. Lucius is here. Aral, Lyndon, Maureen, Corbo, 8218, Kamabadge, Siobhan, Albert, Abera, Marlon, Annette, the secretary is here. Lyndon, Karen Rotov. Then we have Lynette from the UK. Marcus. Then it was who else? Then it was Dion, George, Kurt, Desiree from Georgia. She's joining from Guyana now. A lot of people in Guyana enjoying the holiday. Be safe. Desiree and others. Mark, Brenda, Henrik is here. Phil, Oret, Ulrich, the man from West Dem, is here with us. Pamela, that's another West Dem student here as well. Nigel is here. Rayburn. Then it is Doreen, my squad mate from Canada. Pito from Queens is here. Dude Nat is here with us. Boo, Ronald, Ovid, Dorette. Then it is George, Rosalind, Isabella, Danny is here. Malcolm, Richard, Rohan Jawar is here with us. Clive from the UK. Diane, Lorraine Orl is here. Andre, Winslow. Then it is Danielle from Linden is here with us. Then Lester, Clay, Kay. Then we have Paulette, Grantley, Denise, and Denise usually join us from Florida. She's joining us from GT now. GT, can't stop GT. Colin is here. Doris is here with us. Welcome, Doris. Norbert. Michael from the British Virgin Islands is here. Trevor, Glenn is here. Stefan, Magnell, John, Trotty, Derek, John, not Trotty, this Derek is McCammon. John, Gordon is here. Ulrich, my squad mate, who is from Barbados, who is in Barbados now. Yonette, then it was Lokesh is here. Then Grace, Roxanne, Moses, then it is Bert, Atisha, sorry. Then it is Connolly, Kian, Jano, Brad is here. Francis Keith from Melanie, Dennis, Sean, Joseph, Janella, Desiree, and who else came in? And when we went live, the first man, he take back the first position. Edward Charles is here with us. Then we get Abu is here. Commissioner Cole, welcome. And the list goes on. Vanessa, and who else? The Facebookers. They're all here. So welcome. Now for the announcements. Thankfully, no announcement of any death. Birthday greetings. Today is the birth anniversary of a student, a very dedicated student. He normally in California, but we understand that he might be in GT now. We talk about Terrence King, TK, 9135. TK is observing a natal day today. Also observing today is former director of the Georgetown prison, Dale Erskine. He's the 23rd man. And I got a little cousin, Nicholas Williams. Nico is observing today as well. Then we have belated birthday greetings to retired Inspector Wilfred Burrows. And then we have a former member, Kenrick Ford, my squad mate. He observed recently. Cindlin Isaacs. She's observed recently as well. And no, Cindlin is going to be observed shortly. Now, the others are Grace on the program. We did give her an advanced birthday greeting, but Grace is, she deserves a belated as well. So too does Charlene Phillips. Again, belated birthday greetings to you. So even though we had announced the advance, we got to give you a belated. And in terms of advance, we have a man here who is always here. Terrence Young, 9795 Young. He's going to be observing it on Christmas Day. Terrence is a Christmas baby. And then we also have Deputy Superintendent Rockwell Delph observing on the 26th, and retired Woman Inspector Cindlin Isaacs on the 26th as well. So happy birthday greetings to all those who are observing today, who observed recently, and those who are going to be observing in a few days' time. So I wish you guys all the best. You get it, you get double. Christmas and birthday. Don't let nobody fool you and give birthday gift until it's Christmas gift. Birthday and Christmas separate. So if they're going to give you gift, they have to give you two separate gifts. That is the advice from your teachers. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we're going to move on. CC, welcome. Season greetings. Happy Christmas. Everything to you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, all. all. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and that you're looking forward to a joyous and productive week.
Well, same like you, and I'm in a Christmas mood, although I'm not dressed like you are. I remember yesterday I went to West Coast Barbies for a function. My cousin came back from the States with his wife, his three children, his three daughters. They're all married to three Jamaicans. And we had a nice thing. We had some jerk pork, some jerk chicken, and some manish water, that the Jamaicans prepared it. So they really put me in the Christmas mood, and I hope for some time to stay in a Christmas mood. Now, and I also met a pastor, Pastor Ovid Schultz. I didn't see him for some a while. And we spoke, and he said that he's enjoying the program. We're doing good work. He's saying as I normally say, he's saying we're doing God's work, and he prayed for us, and he gave me some words of inspiration. So I want to shout out to Pastor Ovid Schultz from West Coast Barbies. You mentioned in Bamada, and I will talk a little interesting story. I was transferred here, I think I went there in October. I was a corporal, took over from a sergeant, and then all days day we had promotion. I became a sergeant, and 89, 17, my coach and a constable became a corporal. So he said, Sergeant, what you gonna do? Because I take out me two stripe and I pin it on the knee. And he said, what you gonna do, Sergeant? How you gonna wear the stripe? I said, hold on. And I go in my kit box and I take out the three stripe. I said, well, put on this three stripe for me. Because I went into Mbamada with a three stripe expecting to get my sergeant, and I did get through. Anyway, let's move on to other things.
Yeah, you're like me, You're like me. I remember, let me give a story. I was promoted to deputy superintendent on March Day, 1991. And then 1 year after March Day, 1992, Larry Lewis, as commissioner, called me to his office and to tell me congratulations that I was promoted to superintendent. And I said, thank you, sir. I think it was Emil Granham was there. And I said, Emil, can you please do me the honors? And everybody watching, I put me on in my pocket and take out the 2 crown. And Emil put it on my shoulders because I got word that I was being promoted. So they walked with the thing. When Larry Lewis called me in the office, I suspect that is what it was for. And I walked prepared. You have to always be prepared. So yeah. We could understand. We could understand that, CC. We are old scouts. We always be prepared. Now I see somebody say here that his father, retired Chief Inspector Lawrence Dean, celebrated on the 17th, his birthday. So I know Lawrence 71, 22, I think it was. When I joined the TSU in 1974, those were senior men there to me, Lawrence Dean. I remember Lawrence very, very well. Then he was transferred to the duty center, I think, and so. So yeah, CC. Let me move on. Let me move on now to the first issue. Now, the first issue that I want to talk about is we reported sometime, I think it was last Monday. You had this man who the police claim was arrested for dangerous driving. They say he appeared drunk. He was taken to the Ranville police station, and he collapsed and died in the police station. We were saying that you got to see the postmortem examination to determine what is the cause of death. It has been reported that the man died from a heart attack. The man had a massive heart attack. The family was saying, as we had said, I was reliably informed that this man don't drink. So the police telling you that the man appeared to be drunk and so on. The fact that the man drove and struck 2 cars that were parked, you can't assume that he's drunk. Obviously, the man was having a medical condition, and the postmortem showed that. And the sad thing about it, they're saying that from the time this incident occurred, the man was kept there for like about 55 minutes before he was taken to the station. So the man was there dying. The man, and again, I'm saying it has to do with training. It has to do with training, because obviously the ranks reacted in a manner they were taught to react. Man jammed 2 vehicles, and the man looked little thing. All right, he drunk. No, you can't make those type of assumptions. In this case, this man was actually dying because the man died about an hour or so after that. I don't know if any other form of action was taken, whether the man's life could have been saved, because it's a massive heart attack. So I don't know. But I'm saying that the people have to be trained to respond to these things. When I was in training school, And when I became a drill instructor shortly after, in training school, you had to learn first aid. We were taught first aid in training school. And then when I came out of training school and I became an instructor as a drill instructor, firearm instructor, you had to know first aid as well. So I don't know if they teach first aid now in the police force. I don't know if they teach first aid in the police force. Right? No, Sean, no program on Christmas Day. A student asks if you're going to get a program on Christmas Day. No, I have a life too, you know. I tell you already, Christmas Day, I got to take over the kitchen, take over the galley, and I got a lot of stuff to do on Christmas Day. So I am saying again, when you have these incidents, don't assume, man jammed 2 vehicles, you assume that he drunk, because they said so in the report. The man appeared to be under the influence of alcohol. I don't know what tests they carried out thereafter. But the man, about 1 hour, they said, according to the report, according to the time, 55 minutes after, the man was taken to the Alberton police station to be breathalyzed. That is what they said. So obviously, they didn't know that the man was under the influence. Because they said to be breathalyzed. He was taken to be breathalyzed. And then the man died shortly after he collapsed and died at the police station. Condolences to the relatives and friends of that deceased driver. Let me bring Mr. Comment to make his comment on that. CC, as we had said, no assumption. You can't make these assumptions. You have to be trained to respond in a particular way. What are your views, my friend?
That's true, you know, and the police have got to be concerned, you know, because over the past couple of months, we had a man in Latam that hung himself with, they said they hung himself with the underpants or the boxers we sell. Then shortly after, one in 51 police station in Region 6 hung himself. Then we got one in Romwell police station, died from a gunshot wound. And this one in Alberton. And the police got to do some kind of amount of training somewhere or refresh if they are done training. Go to Standing Order number 73. It talks about how you treat prisoners. People complain of being injured or not feeling well. You know, police, you know, no medical people. Let them seek medical attention. And then you got to look at prisoners when they're drunk or they otherwise, you know, that there's a way this Standing Order 73 talks about dealing with prisoners, and they should read the standing orders, and they should really hold instruction class, because it looks like it's a trend, it looks like a pattern, it looks like it is going around. Persons dying whilst in custody in the police station. I mean, say the police beat them, but they die whilst in police custody, and it's cause for concern.
Yeah, cause of concern indeed. It is cause of concern. Again, we're saying, begin training, you know, even the president recently talked about training and he talked about all sort of things. Training has to be appropriate. And I am saying this without any fear of contradiction, that a lot of these things are as a result of lack of training. A lot of these incidents, the police, you can't blame the police on the ground. They have not been trained to respond properly to some of these things. They have not been. And for the student who asks, this is half the side, the man, I say I got to cook, you want to know what is the menu? Fried rice, vegetable fried rice, some chicken, and the usual thing, roast pork and all these everything. The works, man, with salad and all these things. I got to put out my works. And don't come, place cold, so don't tell you coming by me. And I got to drink I got to take my toops. I got to take my tube. So, yeah, that is what is going to happen. Now, let me move on. Last week, there was a report of this Tushao. You know, Tushao is this Amerindian chief in the village. Found dead in a hotel, multiple stab. But the police report that the man was found dead. He went there, checked in, came out, went out, came back with a male companion. They went into the hotel room. And sometime after, some receptions or somebody went there, see the man lying down in blood and all sort of thing. Corporate Communication Unit, check the release that you made. This man is there in this room with, as you said, 19 stab wounds. 19. That is the man had 19 stab wounds. They had 19 stab wounds. And you're saying alleged murder? Alleged? There's an alleged murder? So what you're suggesting, it could have been, the injuries could have been self-inflicted? It's a murder, like an alleged murder. Man found in a room with 19 stab wounds, bled out, bleed to death. and you're telling it's an alleged, so you're sure that it was a murder? It is a murder. Clear and straightforward, because those wounds could not have been self-inflicted, which is the only other alternative. It's a murder. And again, I say these things are important because you're talking about credibility. Credibility. The same thing, you had with the 17-year-old that was shot and killed. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. That's a alleged robbery. Robbery, it was a robbery. Clear, the man got snatching people's bag and with cell phone and that is a robbery. So you have got to make sure that when these releases are put out, all this long Nancy story, you all writing, you won't stop. And they're not going to stop you. They believe they're getting slow and can be riled up when they write this stupidness. But you're losing your credibility. If you have any credibility left, you're losing it. You can't report that a man was found in a room with 19 stab wounds and suggest that it is anything other than a murder. You cannot. A man is found with and I see Mike Aubrey just came on here. Aubrey, let me hear your comment on that, man, and the other old detective like Smithy and them. A man is found in a room with 19 stab wounds. Clearly, it's an homicide. Clearly, murder. Clearly. And then to come and tell the public, well, alleged. So you're saying that it could have been something else. The wounds, in other words, you're suggesting that the injuries could have been self-inflicted. He stabbed himself 19 times and died. So, and they're going to come again, and they're going to believe that, I said, they're riling up Slow and Conway, so they're going to come and say the same thing again and say, don't bother with Conway, don't bother with Slow. But you haven't got to bother with Conway and Slow. It's you looking stupid. It's you looking stupid. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. See, this alleged murder thing, man.
I read one the other day, alleged fire. And then I wouldn't be surprised because a couple of days ago they had a fire in Borbis in Pitt Street, the house get burned down, and I wouldn't be surprised if they put alleged fire to There's the whole thing. Clear cut case, you don't have to put alleged. If it dies, it dies it. A building burned down and you're saying alleged fire.
Well, if you want to use the word alleged, it has to be alleged arson, because you're not sure. But it's a fire. There's no alleged fire. It is a fire. The cause of the fire may be unknown, unless you name groups, and then we could tell them, put your oars at the source of the fire and out the fire. But once it is that, Toro said, they're probably thinking it was a worst case of suicide. It can't be anything else but a murder, right? Fire is fire. If you want to say alleged arson, that will be correct, because you might not be sure as to the cause of the fire. So let me understand this. And again, these things are set so that you can make sure that you put yourself in order. Yeah, and this body, Carl is saying, they forget the thing, Smelly Cup for a safe competition. I know if that's still going on, because it used to be around October time, I think. And we haven't heard anything more about that. So they talk about training. These things are important. These things are important. I used to lead the TSU team. You have teams from Borbis, teams from Traffic Headquarters, Quartermaster Store, A Division, Force 8 teams, big competition at the TSU Square. Elimination one day, and then the finals the next day. Big competition. You have to know your fractures. You have to know the type of wounds. You have to know force aid. In general, asphyxiation. They taught you things like insulin overdose, diabetic coma. All of these things were taught to policemen. And you had the end of year Smelly Cup competition among the various teams. But these are the things, when I talk about training, these are the things should be resuscitated. They have the extended squatter. We're going to talk about, notwithstanding the fact that they're confirming, we can talk about he has been confirmed, still an extended squatter, he still past the age of retirement. Still past the age of retirement. These are the things that should look into. These are the things that are going to make a significant impact. Yes, Dolly, for a safe competition, policemen, because remember, a lot of policemen, especially the ones who are on patrol and the man who on the road, are likely to encounter situations where the need for force aid will be important even before the EMTs and those people arrive. Police need to know basic things about force aid. That was taught to us in training school. Bandages, type of wounds, fractures, all of those things were taught. And all of a sudden, they tell you about this academy now they get in, And those important aspects of policing are no longer taught. People want to say what is important about first aid and police. Very important, because on many occasions, the police will be the first to arrive at the scene. And when you arrive there, if it's a situation where you have to render first aid, there is an accident scene or some incident or so on, you have to know what to do. You have to know what to do, right? So yeah. So this thing, let me move on now. And CC, first aid competition look like you gone out the window now.
Yeah, it's gone through years now, you know. I remember I participated in force competition, you know, and I had a nice team too. I remember as commander when I just took over commanding Borbies. In 3 weeks, I took a group of people and they went to Georgetown and won the force aid competition, you know. It was a good thing, you know, because most time they are the first responders and they might be able to save a life as first responder. I know they get a body of persons dedicated now that in case anything, you know, they will rush to the scene and will take action as the case may be. But the first responders, the police, and sometimes some of them are in the interior areas where there are no medical persons, so then they might be able to save a life, you know, or render assistance before the person is receive other medical attention.
Yeah, you know, let me get a joke with this first aid thing. Before I said one of you had two places used to give me at the TSU a little problem: training school and the quartermaster store. Let me tell the quartermaster store first. Quartermaster store were the custodians of the books, first aid books, the splints, the bandages, because when it's coming up, you gotta go to the store and get first aid book so you can study. You get bandages, you get splints so you can practice the fractures to the various bones in the body and all this sort of thing. When you go to the quartermaster store, you always got a rough time. You used to gotta get stretcher too and thing. You always got a rough time to get because they're locking off. And they're the quartermaster store practicing all the time, you know. But then the competition was held elimination and the final thing at the TSU. And TSU being the TSU, we make sure that 1 year we lock off some of those things. We lock them off so that when the next year came, we hadn't to depend on them to give us bandage and so on, like limiting the bandage and tricks, all tricks to the trade. In terms of training school, I was one of at the TSU, a leading force aider. So every year I came up the team, we got finals and all sort of thing, and yep, on finals. You know what they did? I think it was Semple and Shepherd, 75-19 Semple, 81-56, Arnold Shepherd. Those men were in training school. Because let me put it this way. When you were a force aider wanted to take part, you used to get a little stipend at the end of the year. Now, no big, well, it was big money then. At $2 and something cents or $3 and something cents. We look forward to that. Now, when you became a lay lecturer, you get, I think, double the amount. So when the man put the proposal to me, they're going to make me a lay lecturer, jump, I'm glad, yeah, I'm going to be a lay lecturer, I'll get seven something at the end of the year, $7 and something cents a day. Not realizing that once you were a lay lecturer, you could no longer partake in the competition. So that was the trick. They made me lay lecturer. And once I became a lay lecturer, then I couldn't lead the TSU team any longer. I could coach them, train them, but I couldn't lead the team. So that's how they cocked me with the thing. No, but you know, in a good way, that's how the thing went. We had rivalry, keen rivalry, right? Keen, they recognized Slow was one of the men at TSU as a time they used to say, bring you, give you the extra money and take you out of the competition. That is how it went. So that is important. Those things are important. Now, let me say this here. Sometime last week, I'm going to fly through this one. I want you all to understand what's going on in this place called Guyana that is not a real place. Right? They had an incident, we call it an incident, some rows. This is some Amerindian people, they said from Venezuela, came to Region 2, which is the Essequibo Coast area there, and so on, some way. And they are claiming that they were encouraged by the president to come to Georgetown. That's what they said. So they came to Georgetown. They found themselves in Church Street, like Church and East Street by that supermarket there, stranded. They said, they called a number, 30 something, women, men, children came. Now, the leader of the AFC intervened because I saw the video, and he was trying to communicate with them as to why they said that they hear nobody, they neglected the president telling them must come, and all this everything. Right? Kwame Makai You know the same Kwame Mapwai from Germany, from the Volkswagen company. He turned up as is expected. Once he turned up at some verbal confrontation, he left and he went away. We later learned, I was following the thing on social media, that the AFC made arrangement for them to put up some night and to get something and so on and so on. Later the night, the ADC for the president, a lieutenant colonel in the army, a serving lieutenant colonel in the army, went and made a post. I will show you all a video. He made a post, which I thought was very, very inappropriate. That is not work for the ADC to do. He's a serving military officer. Once he made this post, the next day, another retired officer, Mark Archer, came out and quite correctly condemned him, said that how the ADC should not be involved in making political statements, which is what he did. Shortly after, Lion Mark Phillips, the Prime Minister, came out with a long letter. I got it here. I can read it to you now. But basically justifying what was done by Lieutenant Colonel Edgell, and more than that, trying to berate Mark Archer for the statement he made calling out Edgell. Now, I'm going to play the statement made by Edgell, and I want you students to comment and to say if you believe that this is an appropriate statement from a serving senior officer in the Guyana Police Force. Let me get it here now. Listen carefully to what he said, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about it. Here we go. It's just about 3 minutes long.
To His Excellency, Dr. Mohammed, good evening. I am Lieutenant Colonel Earl Edgell, aide-de-camp to His Excellency, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali. Last Thursday, we were in Essequibo, and there were lots of persons around His Excellency taking photos and asking for assistance. At no time at all was the President or persons associated with the President invited anyone to Georgetown. However, on Friday, a group of individuals claiming to be from Essequibo turned up at State House, claiming that His Excellency instructed that they come down to Georgetown. I made contact with His Excellency and I was instructed to provide humanitarian assistance, as he never invited or encouraged them to come to Georgetown. We took them to the One Guyana kitchen just opposite State House, and we fed just about 30 persons, adults, and about 15 children, ranging from as young as a newborn to about 9 years old. We then gave them hampers as instructed by His Excellency. I then made contact with the Guyana Defense Force and got a bus to assist in transporting them to Puerto Rico. Whilst at Puerto Rico, they were given dinner, they were housed for the night, and they were given breakfast the next morning. And other financial assistance that they received, as well as transportation on the boat to Essequibo. It is appalling to now hear and see that the same set of individuals are in town making outlandish claims. I feel as though our assistance has been wasted and we are being targeted without cause. I will present photos to show that on Friday they received their hampers. I thank you.
Hey, look, this thing is so offensive to people who are uniform, whether it's police uniform or military uniform. Hear what the man is saying, right? He come to give an explanation. First of all, why is the ADC to the president making such a statement? The president does not have a press officer. Where is Kwame McCoy and them? What are they doing? I would have thought that the president press officer would have been the person to make this statement. And then he talking about it is appalling to see these individuals making such outlandish claim after receiving our assistance. I feel as though our assistance has been wasted and we are being targeted without cause. That is what that officer just said. And Mark Phillips, of all people, a former chief of staff of the Ghanaian Defense Force, NC, nothing wrong with that. NC, Mark Archer was correct. They said the letter is there. Mark Archer was correct. That is not the task of a AD de camp or aide de camp to the president. That is to the president, press officer, and those people who are performing the type of function. They get them at NCN and all them to do that. But to get the ADC, a serving military officer, coming out with that crap that he made for a statement, it is disgusting. And I can't use Jack the word, it is reprehensible. The ADC, and then let me say this because Mark Archer made the point. You go back into the history of Guyana and see if any other aide to any other president ever got involved in anything such political in nature. Go back. Go back and see that. And I'm not surprised at Mark Phillips because obviously, well, to me, it is my belief that somebody writes something and give Mark Phillips to sign. This would not be the first time. When in 2021, they wanted to suspend the police service commissioner, I was the chair. Mark Phillips is the person who signed. Even the address and everything they wrong. Even the address, even the commission to whom the letter was addressed was wrong. Even that. And then later on, they get him to sign an affidavit. Clearly wrong. And I made the point, you see what Guyana is not a real place. You sign an affidavit, you tell lie, that amounts to perjury. That's a criminal offense. But Mark Phillips did that. And now Mark Phillips, writing blank, well, you're writing, signing some letter, which appeared in the media, claiming that conduct of that senior officer, nothing is wrong with it. And then to make the thing even worse, trying to denigrate and try to run down Mark Archer for saying what is facts. That the military officer, the lieutenant colonel is his name, should never have been made to make a statement like that. Made. Because he didn't come out of his own free will and volition to do that, I don't think. They told him to do that. And he came out, and he hadn't the good sense, he hadn't the decency to say, well, look, sorry, that is not part of my duties. Let the press officer or somebody do that. He came out. And he got a whole set of people reminded me over the past couple of days of some of the people who served at ADCs. All the President, Bornam, Arthur Chung, Desmond I, Jagan, both Jagans, even Jack Dio, Ramatar. Never saw an ADC who came out to make a political, it is a political statement. When the man talking about the man said, it is appalling to see these individuals making such outlandish claim after receiving our assistance. That is what Edges is reported as saying, and you heard him there for yourself. I feel as though our assistance has been wasted and we are being targeted without cause. That, and you want to say that is not political? Who is our and who is we? He sound like Jack Dio there. Come on, if you ask Jack Dio, if the man is your friend, he's a friend of ours. It wasn't Jack Dio any longer. Sue, he's a friend of ours. And that is why people are losing respect, have lost respect for people in uniform. And to see that the GDF is rivaling the police, no doubt, rivaling the police in the ace to lose respect. And somebody asked me, the only thing he didn't get on there was the red suit. Because I see, like, the issue in them with red suit now, it came out on one some time ago. And then recently, I see the acting fire chief get on a red suit over the weekend there, red suit, right? And he must realize now, somebody said he realized they can wear red suit and he get confirmed. So he acted, he got wearing red suit, hoping to get confirmed soon as well. Disgraceful for men in uniform to be doing that. Disgraceful. Disgraceful. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, because sure he has a mouthful on the same issue. CC, let me hear you.
Yeah, before I say anything about the ADC, I just want to get back to the Smelly Cup before state competition to make a point about job rotation. The college would normally conduct the for state competition, and I was in charge of the college. I had a set of recruits who participated. And at the end of it, after they assessed them, I think Dr. Leslie Mutu was the chief judge. And he said, second way, I'm impressed with that young Amerindian boy. And I'm going to give him the best first aid. Remember, the guy was a recruit, He was giving him a best first aid. So he announced that, I think the boy named Kashmir was the best first aid. Not knowing that Larry Lewis, the commissioner of police, had the intention of promoting the best first aid. So when Larry Lewis went and he spoke, giving closures, he promoted the recruit to a Lance Corporal. He didn't know was a recruit. So the recruit got a one stripe. So I had to go to Larry Lewis and say, look, the man is recruit. He said, no problem. He said, well, you design a program for him for his development. So I had to do what we call job rotation. Not like what they do with them assistant commissioner and deputy commissioner. That I do some job rotation where he spend some time in traffic, some time in general duty, TSU, CID, and others. I don't know if he's still in the work. But I remember the first competition where Larry was promoted a constable, a recruit in the training. But we did a program to develop in. Now I look at the ADC, and to me he look a bit confused, And that is not the work of the ACD, that the AD camp. That he got to be apolitical. That is political statements he making, and he talking about our, as the case may be, and then he wasn't too clear too, because I expect if you're way making statement, you gotta be clear. Here we say, they were given, he talking about Puerto Rico, they were housed and they were given breakfast. I expect to say well through the office of the president, they got breakfast, but like it's other people there fed them. They might make an impression. They were given dinner. They were housed and they were given breakfast. Who gave them dinner? Who housed them? Who gave them breakfast? And when you look at it, throughout the ages, no aide camp has come forward with statement like that. You don't even hear about the aide camp. You don't even see them or now again they appear. More so he's going public. He's going on national television and making wild statements, uncalled for. And the AD camper is a serving member, senior member of the GDF, and he has got to be neutral. He has got to be a political, but no politics in here. And then I say, what are you doing? He's singing for his supper. He's singing for his supper.
Yeah, he's singing for his supper. But I mean, again, let's say, because I don't think, let me be fair to him and the army. I don't believe that Lieutenant Colonel Edgell would have gone out there on his own to make this statement. I believe he was instructed to do so. Who instructed him, I don't know. But as a senior officer in the army, knowing if you know what his responsibilities are, he will be able to tell somebody in a very respectful manner that no, he can't do that. That he cannot be made to do that. Might even want to suggest to them who should be the person to make such a statement. But he gone out there and make the statement. And then Mark Phillips trying to defend that. They're trying to defend the indefensible. How can you defend a serving member, a senior member of the police force and of the army doing that? That reminds me when the president, they were there at the president breakfast. And the president feeding senior army officer with cake with his fingers, with his bare fingers, not with a knife, not with a fork or gloves. He taking his bare fingers as the president with cake and putting it in the mouth of the senior GDF officers. And they did not see anything wrong with that. They did not see anything wrong with that. And that is what we're talking about. Because somebody, well, let me say the president, you know about hygiene, you know about all of these things. Wait, somebody can't say, look, this thing, as we just say the country, you can look bad, you can't do that. Somebody can't tell the president, them smiling and opening their mouth like them young hatchling, them young board, and the man putting cake in the mouth. So when you see a Jill come down and making them statement, how can you be surprised? Can't be surprised. But I'm not even surprised at the fact that Mark Phillips will try to defend that. A former chief of staff in the army, Mark Phillips, who is now the prime minister, defending that action of the senior officer. Wonder what the rank and file feel. Wonder what the rank and file of the army feel about one of the senior men coming out and making statements like that. The senior officers being unfed by the president, and they don't see anything wrong with these things. Now, I have a correction to make earlier. When I announced the birthday greetings, I said that Sindlin Isaacs will be celebrating a birthday, I think on the 26th. Retired inspector, and one of the students corrected me, said how she retired as an assistant superintendent of police. So apologies, Cindy. I know when you're in the military thing, this rank thing means a lot. This when you're in the police and the military and the uniform in general, it means a lot. Rank means a lot. And having said that ranks mean a lot, let me move straight into this next story. Mr. Brutus, retired. No, oh shit, I said retired, not retire. Embattled assistant commissioner of police. In the news again. It is reported that last week, Monday, I think it was, that he was at Letem. And let me read. I don't want to I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to hold on. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but the report I have it somewhere here, which says that here it is. And it says this is HPG Nightly News. Ministry of Home Affairs said today that embattled Assistant Commissioner of Police Calvin Brutus attempted to leave Guyana for Brazil through Letem Region 9. I posted a thing that, in other words, the ministry said he got to run away. And I tell you, people say he got to stay and bond or cut and run. And they are alleging that he didn't want to stay and bond, so he was cutting and running. And they go on to say the incident, according to the ministry, allegedly took place on Monday, December the 16th, 2024, involving a vehicle bearing Brazilian registration number. They gave the number, which was intercepted by law enforcement officers on its approach to the Takatu Bridge, Letem Region 9. The vehicle carrying a driver and one passenger was allegedly attempting to depart Guyana without reporting to an immigration officer. Quote, upon inspection, the passenger of the vehicle was identified as Mr. Calvin Brutus, who is currently on administrative leave. Mr. Brutus is currently under a court order prohibiting him from leaving the jurisdiction as he faces criminal charges stemming from investigation into alleged financial crimes. End of quote. Following the interception, Mr. Brutus was informed by the police that he could not leave the country. He subsequently returned to Ogle from Letem on a flight on December the 16th, 2024. The ministry said it is assuring the public that further investigations into this matter are underway and appropriate responses will be taken in accordance with the law. That is what let me break it down. The Ministry of Home Affairs is alleging that last week, Monday, Brutus attempted to leave Guyana to go to Brazil. For those of you who don't know, Brutus got 252 criminal charges pending. He's on something like, $16 or $17 million bail total for all the charges. Before that, he went to court seeking permission to leave the jurisdiction to accompany his wife to the U.S. to seek medical attention. Justice Gino Prasad denied him that permission. The wife subsequently left on the 5th of this month. I remember the date well. Because something, as I said, that is perhaps the most efficient thing I have ever seen in Guyana. Our passport, the wife's passport was lodged as a condition of the bail. The lawyer representing the wife approached the magistrate on the 5th to have that condition removed. The magistrate allowed her to get back her passport. That is on the 5th. That is what is being reported on the 5th. On the same day, on the afternoon of the 5th, Mrs. Brutus and her 2-year-old son was on a plane to the United States of America. I said that is what you call well-organized, very efficient arrangement. Breakneck speed, according to Nanlal. Breakneck speed. So that is what transpired. That's what the ministry is reporting, that he was at Lethem attempting to leave the country. Now, the lawyer representing Brutus, Mr. Anderson, gave a statement and they're refuting that. So he was never attempting to leave and all of that. But here the story here, get several things. We tell you statement analysis. Because ministry is reporting that on the 16th, Monday the 16th, he was attempting to leave the country. And here, let me say this. I am representing Brutus. I will be the last person to represent Brutus. But I am dealing with the facts. And facts are stubborn things. And as the lawyer correctly pointed out, I believe, the lawyer representing Mr. Brutus, Brutus appeared in court 2 days after. Last Wednesday, the 18th, Brutus appeared in court. And the lawyer is claiming that this attempt to leave the jurisdiction, contrary to what the conditions of the bail is, or the conditions of the bail are, they didn't raise it in court. They did not raise it in court. So here again, let me give the sequence. They say on the 16th, he was intercepted at Lethem, trying to go to Brazil. So I know if he's going to Brazil on the 16th and come back in time for court on the 18th, they say he was leaving. However, according to the lawyer, when Brutus appeared in court on the 18th, this issue of him attempting to leave the jurisdiction never came up. Never came up. So what happened, Ministry of Home Affairs? What happened in this matter? How you going to believe the Ministry of Home Affairs on them? Because again, I said, I'm defending Brutus. But if Brutus, as they are claiming, attempted to flee the jurisdiction on the Monday, and then Wednesday, he is before the court, why did they not inform the magistrate that, look, they're making an application for the bail to be revoked, and this man should be remanded because he attempted to flee on Monday, 2 days before. He attempted to flee the jurisdiction. They never did that. They never did that. And Mr. Anderson is correct. The fact that they never did that brings into question the accuracy of their reporting. The accuracy of the reporting. And it was yesterday in Kaicho News, they're saying that Brutus responded on his Facebook page. Right? The thing says Brutus admits traveling to Lethem. He admitted that he was in Lethem. But hear what it says here. Let me read this again. I want to misquote nobody. But says trip was to see his father, not to flee Guyana. He said he been to Lethem, but he was going to see his father, not to flee Guyana. Hear what the article says. Embattled Assistant Commissioner of Police Calvin Brutus on Thursday cleared air about his recent trip to Lethem, Region 9, claiming that he had gone there to visit his father for Christmas and not to flee the country. In a statement on his Facebook page, Brutus accused the Ministry of Home Affairs of deliberately misleading the public, President Irfan Ali, and the international community about the intentions of his travel. The ministry has issued a statement. The ministry had issued a statement Thursday after claiming that the policeman was caught trying to leave the jurisdiction via the Lethem border without permission. Brutus's lawyer, U.C. Anderson, has responded on behalf of his client, calling the statement false and even challenging the ministry to provide evidence backing its claim. And he quote, "It should be noted that this is what Brutus is quoted now as saying, it should be noted that I, Calvin Brutus, Deputy Commissioner of Police acting, have no business or interest in fleeing this country, as I plan to remain and challenge every charge that was filed against me following a tainted investigation by Soku." End of quote. Brutus said in his social media statement before, stating that there is also no law preventing him from traveling to Lethem traveling the length and breadth of Guyana. Correct. Quote again, I booked a ticket on Saturday, December the 14th, 2024, and traveled to Lethem to check on my father for the Christmas season. And I will be returning to Lethem soon. End of quote. The policeman revealed while making it known that he had traveled to the area via plane. Now it goes on. According to Brutus, quote, anyone with a desire to leave Guyana unauthorized has many options through which they can leave given the country's porous borders, end of quote, and would not leave the country in a detectable flight like he did. And quote again, or go up to an immigration checkpoint where the men and women working there know who you are, know you by name, face, and appearance. They are my fellow colleagues, end of quote, the embattled police officer said. Brutus disclosed that there was indeed a security detail trailing him during his trip to Region 9. Like what he said, Brutus disclosed that there was indeed a police detail trailing him during his trip to Region 9. Quote, the resources the state is using to trail me, as they did in Lethem with a white pickup, should be the same resources and energy used to root out corruption, for which I am seemingly become a poster boy ahead of elections, said Brutus, end of quote, said Brutus. Even, quote again, even in Georgetown, I'm afforded the luxury from a force that is always accused of not having vehicles to respond to reports from citizens, end of quote. The senior cop said, adding, quote, this luxury is further extended to me whenever I head out to purchase bread or to take my son to school, end of quote. Brutus described the alleged frequent police presence around him as, quote, flattering, end of quote. Quote again, I challenge the Ministry of Home Affairs to provide the video or photographic evidence to support this claim of me attempting to flee Guyana, end of quote, stated Brutus. Then it reminds us Brutus is facing 252 charges relating to fraud and financial crimes. He's presently on $17.2 million bail. Now we got a lot of things to unpack there, a lot of things. Brutus is disputing. The first thing to unpack, Brutus is saying here that it should be noted that I, Calvin Brutus, Deputy Commissioner of Police acting, Calvin Brutus, you are never acting Deputy Commissioner of Police. Let me understand this thing clearly. You acting Deputy Commissioner of Police, show us your instrument. Show us. And I guess now that we have real Deputy Commissioners, 5 of them, who are promoted recently. I get that and get you more jittery now. But to write on a Facebook page that you're an acting Deputy Commissioner, you're lying. You're never acting. You were carrying out the functions of. Big difference. Big difference. When Akin was acting commissioner, he was big thing. He wore the rank. President went through the process of appointing him. I mean, it was contested. Gotta say he passed retirement age and so on. We are going to that. But when were you made acting deputy commissioner? He said so. And then he said that when he was trailing him, Brutus disclosed that there was indeed a security detail trailing him during his trip to the region. Not during his trip to, not in the region, but he's claiming he got a plane and they were trailing him to Region 9. So he's suggesting, therefore, that they're flying a plane alongside him for trailing. That is what he's saying. Huh? Let me read it back. Brutus disclosed that there was indeed a security detail trailing him during his trip to Region 9, to the Region 9. The trailing to Region 9. Not while he was in Region 9, but the trailing to Region 9. And then he goes on to talk. Imagine Brutus talking about afforded luxury, folks always following me around, even when he got for white bread for his son, and when he got for white bread, and when he carried his child to school, and all he said, he talking about these things now. The shoe burning on the other foot. And I guess we're going to talk about the promotions and so on next. But, as I've said, the next thing he never addressed in this letter, it's significantly, He never addressed whether, in fact, he was in this car, this with Brazilian number plate. Tell us whether you were in this car. They said that they give the car number. The photograph is on social media, the car. They say he was found with a car with a Brazilian license plate, and they gave the number of the license plate that the car was. They put that in the release. NUK 8E96. NUK 8E96 was the car that he was in. That is a Brazilian license plate. Why did he not address whether he was in fact in this car, Brazilian registered car, and what was he doing in the car at the time when they claimed that he was intercepted? You see, I tell you, we got to come and analyze these things, We got to come and analyze these things so that you people can be better informed. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to address this issue. See, this Brutus thing. Brutus is a gift that keeps giving, man. Your views.
Well, he says he's a poster boy, I hold no brief for Brutus. And like you, I will not defend Brutus. But my grandmother used to say, talk for rain and talk for sun. Now, I always like to go back to the law and the Constitution. Article 148.1 says, no person shall deprive or his or her freedom of movement. That is to say, the right to move freely through Guyana. Let me explain. The right to move freely through Guyana. The right to reside in any part of Guyana. The right to enter Guyana. The right to leave Guyana. And immunity from expulsion from Guyana. And if you want to prevent somebody from leaving Guyana, you have to go to the court. I think it's Article 148.1D. I won't read it, but you got to go to the court, and the court will have to pass the orders preventing you from leaving Guyana. But apart from that, you're entitled. Now, Brutus. I know Brutus well. Brutus is from the Latin area, the European area. He grew up in that area. And I'm surprised that if what Brutus is saying is true, that they're monitoring his movements. I agree if when they were doing the investigations of the serious financial irregularities, they had a right to monitor him. Monitor him because he could have fled the country during the investigation. But here it is, he was placed before the court. And if you were monitoring your story down there, you can't monitor no more. It's the court has got to decide. And so many things coming out of what we see the report from the Ministry of Home Affairs. Did he present himself to the immigration authority to leave the country? And I know that time, well, I was a police commando. The bridge, 2 checkpoints. You gotta go to immigration. So being in a vehicle in the vicinity there, in a Brazilian vehicle, if they say being in some Brazilian vehicle, although we ain't got no proof from it there, it isn't evidence that he attempting to leave the country. He gotta present himself on the crossing there. Although I know sometimes the Takatu River is actually be dry that you walk across the Takatu River. I play cricket on the Takatu River. I play volleyball on the Takatu River. You jump across rocks and all kind of thing there. So if Brutus had wanted to leave, he could have used other methods. And I got no evidence to show that he presented himself to the immigration. Because you got to present yourself to immigration. If he got drive past 2 checkpoints, got to report the 2 checkpoints if you're going to Brazil. And I don't see why they're monitoring, but reports on the ground indicating that somebody senior to Brutus wasn't let him and a party saw him in a Brazilian registered vehicle and tell him, monarchy, in case anything, intercept me. I would allow him, like on reports that he came Brazil and then intercept me. I think if there's what they jump the gun, they act too fast as usual. Allow me go then and you see we attempted to leave it. Well, based on what is reported coming out from the place, that I can't see how they could say that Brutus attempted to leave the country through Brazil. And then he used some words, he said that the monarchy was on his way. I'm surprised he didn't use some words that the monarchy before, during, and after the Latin trip. And then part of it, they said they send him back to send him back to Georgetown. You can't send back nobody no way. I could be in anything could be in any part of Ghana. You can't send me. If I go to Bobby's, that you send me back to Georgetown where I live in, or if I go be you send me back. No. The thing is that the Constitution is clear. The right to move freely throughout Guyana, the right to reside in any part of Guyana, the right to enter Guyana, and the right to leave Guyana, and the immunity from expulsion, as if they want to extradite you. So it's a constitutional provision that the citizens are entitled, and it's in the Constitution, and any regulation you're going to make that runs counter to the Constitution has got to bow down to the Constitution. And as my commissioner say, you allow it bows down, allow it collides with the Constitution, it is fatal. I got to bow down to it and say, mea culpa. So the whole thing with Brutus, there are many unanswered questions. Johnny Nash, I think they sing a song, there are more questions than answers, and the more I find out, the less I know.
Yeah, the more you find out, the more the less you know. Oh, let me say this. Some people are saying, I am not too familiar with certain arrangement there, but people are saying that you have vehicles in the Latin area bearing Brazilian number plate. So the fact that he might have been in a vehicle bearing Brazilian number plate is not necessarily indicative of him trying to flee. But even coming back to what the ministry said, as we rightly pointed out, if the ministry believes, as they claim in the release, that he was trying to flee, why you did not inform the court? Why did the prosecutor not, I can't say he wasn't informed, but why did this matter, the attempt to flee, which is clearly would have been in violation of the conditions of bail, why did this matter not raise? Why did you not raise this in the court on Wednesday when he appeared? So I don't know. There are more questions than answers, as CC just said. More questions than answers. What does I say? You say you got to stay on bun or cut and run. Christmas is day after tomorrow. And I guess they say Christmas is a time for being with the family. Christmas is the time for being in your family. As far as we are aware, Brutus' wife and son are in the United States of America. We were advised that they left on the 5th of December. And coming up last Wednesday, I think I saw something recently too, where the lawyer is claiming that they're still overseas. And at the last hearing, Brutus' wife appeared virtually. So let me see where this will go. Let me see where this will go. So let me move into the next issue. That is the recent promotions. I guess all this now got born Brutus. The fact that he calling himself Deputy Commissioner acting, he was never acting. The others who call themselves acting too, never acting. Right? Now, last week, when was last week? Thursday. I tell you all the crystal ball walking. Last week, Wednesday, one of the subjects discussed on this program was the imminent appointment of Ikin as Commissioner of Police. It happened the next day. Now, let me understand this clearly. There are conflicting views as to the legality of the appointment. I hold the view that the appointment was illegal. Other people, including some lawyers, feel that it was legal. Some lawyers too feel that the appointment was unconstitutional. Now, they say we had learned some time ago that Nanlal, the Attorney General, said there's nothing preventing the president from appointing Ikin to Commissioner of Police, even though he had passed the retirement age of 55. Never happened before. Let me understand this thing clearly. It has never, ever in the history of Guyana happened where something like that, man don't pass the retirement age and they appointed him. So let me, for argument's sake, since you want to be thing with it, for argument's sake, let's say that the Constitution, or let me say the fact that he passed 55 is not a barrier to him being appointed. Let me, for argument's sake, let me admit that. The Constitution, Article 211, I think it is, talks about consultation between the president and the leader of the opposition. What we understand took place on this occasion, sometime in September, the Ministry of Governance and Parliamentary Affairs, Gail Teixeira, a big title, wrote to the leader of the opposition and said the president is thinking about appointing Ikin and those 5 people as deputy, Ikin as commissioner and the 5 as deputy commissioner. And they asked for a response by a particular date. It is said that the leader of the opposition, Mr. Aubrey Norton, responded, and he said, look, I have a problem with Ikin being appointed commissioner. He mentioned the fact that he has passed retirement age, and he outlined several other things, Linden, Commission of Inquiry, and all type of things. He says that these things should prevent him. Gail Teixeira responded, as we read to you many times before, and said, notwithstanding what you said, we feel that this man did an excellent job. Confidence in the police force improved since he say all sort of thing. That is what they say. All right. Again, we giving in. Let me say all of those things are true in terms of the age. Now, what is consultation? They had consultation before, I'm advised, in the previous constitution, and then sometime around 2003, an amendment was made to say that the Constitution must be meaningful, that the consultation must be meaningful. You want to tell me that Gail Teixeira writing to the leader of the opposition, he responded, and then she write back and said, notwithstanding you said we go in it, that is meaningful consultation? I don't care what nobody said. I don't care what anyone say. I don't think that is meaningful consultation. And let me remind the students, when in 2018, President Granger wanted to make appointments of a commissioner and deputy commissioners, Bharat Jagdeo was the leader of the opposition. He was summoned to a sit-down, eyeball to eyeball process. Jagdeo was accompanied by Gail Teixeira and Irfan Ali, who is now president. They sat across the table and they consulted. That was the last time such a process took place. But now here we're going on. Now here we're going on is that you write a letter, you get a response to the letter, you write the next letter, and you say, well, that is meaningful consultation. Not only consultation, but you're arguing that that is meaningful consultation. I don't think so. I don't think so. And, these things, I believe, should be challenged all the way to the CCJ. Let the CCJ say if this is meaningful consultation. I recall when Ikin was appointed to act, there was a challenge because the leader of the opposition claimed that he was not consulted and all of that when the thing was done. The court ruled, if I remember correctly, that at the time when the appointment was made, I think it was he and the Police Service Commission, I think it is, there was no leader of the opposition to consult with. And therefore, out of necessity, the appointment had to be made. Now, I think words to the effect. I'm paraphrasing. But I said at the time when the appointment was made, there was no leader of the opposition to consult. And therefore, having regards to the importance of this office, They went there. The president was correct in making the appointment. All of these things got to be challenged. I think it was challenged. I don't know. They haven't ruled on it as yet. But that is what we have. All right, forget about that legal aspect, that part of it. What about the suitability of the candidate? What about the suitability of the candidate? This is a man who has been accused of all sorts of things. Mirai, back in 2011, accused of driving drug man car. He admitted to driving the car. He said he didn't know the car belongs to a drug man. He said he didn't know that the car belongs to a drug man. He admitted to that. So that wasn't a real allegation. He admitted. When the allegation was made, he admitted. More recently, he wrote in a statement to say that he took $8.5 million from a businessman to finance the wedding of Calvin Brutus. He says so. Again, so there's not an allegation. He admitted that he has some policy where he may, when there are special occasions such as wedding, anniversaries, and the like, he reach out to stakeholders and friends to get money. And the one businessman gave him $8.5 million in an envelope, which he counted, and he paid Pegasus this morning. I am saying that amounts to misconduct in public office. And here, let me play this tape for y'all. Let me play this tape. I know it's slow, and Conway said that it is misconduct in public office. Here, Nolan, hear this one. Let me make sure I get the right tape. This is
Cordell Jones from Livewire News. There's been a lot of public consternation over large bank deposits being made by a senior police officer, with reports that another senior officer justified this in an affidavit. Is the government concerned about these developments?
So let me make it clear that there is no attempt to discriminate against anyone. I've seen recently a slew of social media people who are linked to the opposition, particularly the extreme ones, attempting to portray this issue as a race issue. But that's predictable. Let me make it clear what our policies are. We support the police force. We support the leadership of the police force. We support them to do their work, but they must comply with the laws of this country. The PPP will not tolerate corruption in the police force or anywhere else. And when we find corruption in the police force or anywhere else, there will be no attempt to cover it up. So if you believe that you have a special relationship with the government and that we will, pursuant to that relationship, cover up your misdeeds, you have it wrong. You don't know the PPP. When this matter surfaced, the opposition was saying that these individuals, or this particular individual, was linked to the government of Guyana. And they did not trust that there will be an impartial investigation. The AFC and the PNC called for external body to investigate because they believe that there will be a cover-up. We made it clear at that time that the investigations would be professional and there will be no interference from the executive to steer the investigation either way, and that the chips may fall where they may. I said those words. In the investigations, the impartial investigation, done by an arm of the police force, there is a recommendation that went to the DPP to lay multiple charges against the individual for breaches of the law. I see the particular individual now filing a constitutional motion claiming that somehow the executive, the same executive, the PPP or the executive, is influencing the course of the investigation. APNU was saying something different. They were saying, we will help this individual. We'll cover up what he was doing. He is now saying we are influencing it to lay charges against him. We have no interest whatsoever in that. But if you did illegal things, you will face the consequences. And from all that I've read, that a lot of wrong things took place. A lot of illegalities took place. And so we will respond to the constitutional motion in court. And since some charges were made, trust me, our affidavit to respond to those charges may not be beneficial to the particular individual, because we will go into great details about what our findings were in the procurement system. And so when he was heading the administration of the police force. So further, I don't want to say anything on the matter. And let me also make it clear here today that this government never sanctioned a policy where private individuals and businessmen could pay for the birthdays and weddings of policemen or other public officials. In fact, we think it's reprehensible. It's reprehensible. So that's all I'm going to say for today.
Well, I have to play that. I know it's not easy to listen to some of these things, students, but I have to play that. So it's not Conway and Slow saying that this act of the Clifton Ikin, when he was acting commissioner, taking $8.5 million in his office from a businessman is reprehensible. Jagdio says so. Jagdio is saying that the act of taking $8.5 million by Ikin is reprehensible. And therefore, the logical question is, this man commit this reprehensible act, and he is rewarded with being promoted to the commissioner of police. What do you think other people will see? There's only one act, because in the same statement he made, he said all sort of crap. And I said that apart from the offense of misconduct in our office, that should have followed that statement by him that he took $8.5 million from the businessman, he should have also been investigated for perverting the course of justice, because that statement was intended to clear Brutus in relation to this $46.4 million that he deposited in a bank. Well, what happens? And that's the point I'm making. So to all the lawyers and all the people, if you want to give up, if you want to accept that he could be appointed after the age of 55, he could be lawfully appointed after the age of 55. What happened to this conduct? This forget about all the others. Forget about driving drug man car and all them, everything as claimed by Mirai back in 2011 and admitted by him. But he didn't admit a drug man car. He admitted he was driving the car, but he said he didn't know that the man who owns the car, who was a friend of his, was involved in drug. Forget about that for the moment. I am saying on this one matter alone, this $8.5 million that Jagdio found to be reprehensible. That alone should have prevented Clifton Ikin from being commissioner of police. So even if you wanted to not to charge him and put him before the court, man say take $8.5 million from a businessman. That's pay for play. That's bribery. That's corruption. Put it how you want to put it. So the question is, why? Why? Is it paying back? Is it paying forward? And remember, all this controversy with this man admitting the $8.5 million misconduct in office, he admitted to a crime. He's promoted. You have the Chief Justice and the Chancellor, two respected, highly qualified, and educated jurists. You're not appointing them. So what can one glean from that? You're appointing a man who's accused of a criminal act, who the vice president said committed a reprehensible act of this. He says so. The $8.5 million, it is reprehensible. He repeat the word twice, reprehensible. You got on your appointee. But you got the Chief Justice and the acting Chief Justice, acting Chancellor, who have been performing the duty for the longest while. You're not appointing them. Is it because they are female? Is it because they are Afro-Guyanese? These questions need to be asked and answered. Because again, this thing looked bad. It looked bad for you appointing this man who has had all of these skeletons, a whole graveyard of skeletons. But these two women cannot be appointed. Now let me tell you too, that I can bring in Mr. Conway after this. Let me tell you that the Constitution says it's a slightly different process. You have to have the agreement of the leader of the opposition to appoint the Chancellor and Chief Justice. There was no need for agreement to appoint the Commissioner and Deputy Commissioners. It says meaningful consultation. I am saying no meaningful consultation took place. But in the case of the Chancellor and the Chief Justice, agreement from the leader of the opposition. The leader of the opposition is on record as saying that he is in favor of those two women being appointed. He says so. He write that. And yet still they're not being appointed. It raises a lot of questions. Before I bring in Mr. Conway, let me tell you, share, Mark. Continue to share. Give us a thumbs up. Continue to share and give us the thumbs up. That share. Give us a thumbs up and to show your appreciation. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. I've said a lot, and I'm sure he has a lot more to say too. CC, what are your views on the appointment that I talked about just now?
Well, I will repeat some of the things you mentioned for the sake of emphasis, and I'll introduce a couple of new ones, because I think it is very, very important that we analyze this whole thing. Here is it. The president confirmed a squatter as commissioner of police and appointed 5 deputy commissioners. The law is clear that he must have meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition and chairperson of the Police Service Commission, who will have consulted with other members. And also, the Constitution is clear that for you to extend the commissioner, you got to extend him before he has passed the age of retirement. And it is in bracket for the sake of emphasis. They put it in bracket before he has attained the age of 55 years. Open bracket, before he has attained the age of 55 years, close bracket. So it's important. It's so important that they had to put it in bracket. And he can has passed the age of retirement, maybe about 2 years or more than that ago. And the nonsense that Nandalal saying that they had meaningful consultation, no way. Gail Teixeira wrote Aubrey Norton, said the president wanted to appoint Ikin and deputy commissioners. Aubrey Norton responded, quoted certain things as disagreement. Gail to share right back and glorify Hicken. And that is the end of it. That could never be meaningful consultation. They must sit down and eyeball one another and discuss matters. There's how it doesn't call for agreement between the president and the leader of the opposition, but they must sit down and talk. They don't have to shake hands. But they must sit down and talk. And if they disagree, so be it. The president has the right to appoint based on meaningful consultation. And I want to make it clear that the president is not above the law. He's a creature of the law, and he got to work in accordance with the Constitution. And this is not the first time that he's breached it. Remember when he was misled by the Attorney General, and as you mentioned, Paul, the lion Mark Phillips, who is the first vice president, by the way, and they suspended us. Justice Gino Prasad said, unconstitutional protection, null and void, has no legal effect, and a whole set of other things about it. And here is it. We're talking about meaningful consultation. None of that took place. None whatsoever. But gone ahead and appoint. And then if we as you say, if you throw that aside, the Constitution, and you can't throw the Constitution aside, what's written in the Constitution aside. But for the sake of argument, you put aside. You got to look at the conduct, his behavior. Here it is. You, the commissioner, and you have your number 2 man. We say your right-hand man with 252 criminal charges. It happened under your watch. We talk about vicarious liability. I mentioned a couple sessions ago that the Archbishop of Canterbury, the most senior Anglican, resigned because he said he failed to properly supervise report of sexual misconduct by one of his priests. We had in the Bahamas, the commissioner resigned because one of his senior men was arrested in the United States for drug trafficking. So you want a commissioner who is beyond reproach. We not commission with a whole set of allegations leveled against him, with a whole set of allegations leveled against the senior members and junior members at all levels of the Guyana police force. It's under his watch. Where is the leadership? Where is the accountability? And then you go in and you appointing him. You conforming as squatter, as commissioner of police. Totally wrong. You know, and then we ask the question, what about succession plan? There is no succession plan in the Guyana police force, none whatsoever. You need to have structured program for your officers so they could seamlessly rise to the apex of management in the Guyana police force. They got to get job rotation, not the nonsense what they put out the other day with them. Proper job rotation from early up, not at the stage of assistant commissioner. You have to have job enlargement. You have to have job enrichment. And I'm talking about enrichment that will Brutus. How much $100 million in the bank book? And there's no allegation, there's what in the bank book. How much $1 million? Attack the job enrichment is about dealing with a job, enriching you with a job, not financially. Yeah. So many things that happen under Hicken watch. Hicken will leave a legacy of duck curry competition, a legacy of cook-up competition, a legacy of flavor in the dance, a legacy of bowling ball for the president's score runs. Maybe that's why the president appointed, because he bowled the balls for the president score runs and look good. And he bowl full toss and have valleys. And what the president and the attorney general are doing? They are fiddling around the edges of the Constitution. They're fiddling around the edges of the Constitution. Hicken should have never been appointed a commissioner of police. Should never been confirmed as a commissioner of police. So instead of an extended squatter, we now have a confirmed squatter.
Well said, well said, well said. Now let me one of his students, well, I don't know he's a student. Attorney at law Selwyn, my good friend and Peter Scully Sports no lawyer. He's making a comment here. He says meaningful consultation does not call for eyeballing each other. It can be entirely in writing. Look, he said we must admit that Norton's letter of September 17, 2024 was woefully deficient and non-responsive. Selwyn, I'm not going to get into the public debate with you on that. I respect your views as a lawyer. That is why I took you on in the first place. I respect your ability and your views as a lawyer. But I don't agree that just exchange 2 letters from the president or Gail Teixeira and 1 from Norton, that is meaningful. That is my view. I don't believe, and I believe that this matter should go all the way to the CCJ for them to determine if that is considered meaningful consultation, because that is what took place, that type of action before the amendment, I'm advised. But after the amendment in 2003, it was meant for, and that is when the word meaningful was included. So I don't know that is meaningful. But Selwyn, as we are saying, let's concede that whole process. Let me agree that for argument's sake that was meaningful. The exchange of the letter and so on, that was meaningful. We talk about what about the conduct? You're not going to take the conduct of the candidate into consideration. This is a man to lead the Guyana police force. This is a man to lead the Guyana police force. You're talking about reform and all of that. And you're telling me that a man who was at, forget about all the previous things, because I know you wrote about the COI, the Linden COI, the COI that I conducted and all that. Forget about all that for now. The man admitted that he took $8.5 million from a businessman to finance the wedding of Brutus. He admitted that in writing. The vice president, as we played a while ago, said that is reprehensible. And the man is awarded with being confirmed. That is my point. That even if you want to say that he could have been appointed after 55, even if you want to argue that the discussion, the exchange, the letter was is meaningful consultation. Now, let me concede for argument's sake that those things are correct. Even if you want to argue that the letter from R.B. Norton was unresponsive, let me concede that for the purpose of this discussion. What happened to the conduct of the candidate? Shall you want to tell me that should not have been taken into consideration? That might not be, you might want to argue that might not be a legal requirement, but at least it's a moral requirement that a man who is going to be given this high office has to be above reproach, more or less. Can't get all them old graveyard of skeletons and so on. Can't. So let me understand this. And again, Selwyn, the Christmas coming up, perhaps I know I got to reach out to you so we can talk and so on. But I'm saying, if I'm conceding, let me concede to you that the legal part in terms of consultation, in terms of the age, and let me agree to disagree that yes, that was okay. What about the conduct? What about the conduct? Come and continue to share this life. And let me go into some other aspects. Because the time running out on me, we might have to go over a few minutes. Now, let me understand this here now. I wonder how Nigel Appy feeling. Nigel Appy, who was clearly used, right? Wonder how he is now feeling. Because when Leslie James, the last commissioner before the squatter, proceeded on leave in 2020, at the end of July, Nigel Appy carried out the functions of commissioner. He was never, ever made to act, and therefore he was never even confirmed for over a year, almost 2 years, right? This is one of the issues I always had. with the legal people. Because in 2022, when Ikin was appointed, I think it's 2022, he was appointed to act, right? One of the things they said that at the time when the appointment took place, there was no leader of the opposition, something around that. And therefore, it was necessary. So I argue the point that if it was necessary to have a commissioner of police, why wasn't Nigel Appy made acting when James demitted office in 2021? I think it was the 4th of May 2021. And I would have thought that if you want to say that this office of commissioner is so important, then Nigel Appy should have been the person to act from the 4th of May 2021 when James demitted office. But you wait until 2022 when Napi go up on leave, and then you make Ikin acting and say that because it was necessary to fill it. I can't understand the reasoning there. But I wonder how Nigel Appy feels. And then the next question is, the crystal ball. The next question is that the vacancy for Commissioner of Police in Guyana existed from the 1st of May 2021. Let me understand this thing clearly. We're into 2024, almost going into 2025. The vacancy for the office of Commissioner of Police existed from the 1st of May 2021 when Leslie James went into retirement. So let me see what date they're going to give him. Let's see what, you see, these things are, you got to go into it in detail. You got to go into it in detail. Hold on, let me read, what shall we say, present the evidence of and submission in support of the, shall we say, present the evidence and submission in support of evidence. That is, look, again, shall we go past that? I gone past whether it was, that part I made it plain. Let me argue again, let me repeat. Let me say that it was meaningful consultation that took place. Let me agree that it was meaningful consultation that took place. Let me agree that you could have appointed him after he passed the age of retirement. I am saying that you're not going to take into consideration the man's conduct. The man had basically admitted to committing a crime, accepting $8.5 million in an office, which in my view is misconduct in public office. A lot of people get in charge of that. And you're telling me that that should not be taken into consideration when you're considering the candidate? We can agree to disagree on that one, my brother. We can agree to disagree. But I'll come back to the point I'm making about the date. Let's see what date they are going to give to Ikin. And let me say further. But the president did say that the appointment takes effect. No worry about the president said. Francis, don't worry with what the president said. Let's see what will be published in the official Gazette. You see, all us fall for this enough talk, They're lying to me a lot of times. President can say what he wants to say. But there's something called the official Gazette where the appointments are going to be published, and that is what makes them official in terms of the date and all this everything. But talking about date, let's see what date they're going to give Ikin. And let's see what date they are going to give to the deputy commissioners. My crystal ball, I'm anticipating that they are going to try to manipulate the seniority. Listen to me carefully, I'm looking into the ball. Last week I told you all about the ball. A lot of people called me, asking me to borrow the crystal ball. Well, you say to publish it. So I don't know what date. I can check the official Gazette to see what date. So I'm saying that watch to see what will happen with the seniority of the deputy commissioners. As it is now, and let me tell you further, despite what you hear Brutus say, well, this is not a police service commission, because to promote deputy commissioners is the president. The only role the police service commission has is to consult among themselves, and then the president consults with the chairman of the police service commission. But there's a rubber stamp arrangement now. There's a rubber stamp arrangement. So the Brutus had said that when the promotion was made in 2022, the police service commission gave him seniority over all the other assistant commissioners. We addressed that on the program. That can't be so. If that was done, it is illegal, against the civil service rules, against all kind of thing. In this case, with the promotion of the deputy commissioners, the order of seniority going into this. Let me tell you all, McBean was promoted to assistant commissioner in 2018, August 2018. All the others were promoted after. When Watts was promoted, Watts, Budram, Blanham, and Brutus were all promoted to assistant commissioner on the 1st of January 2015. So McBean is way senior to all of them in that rank. Now, the fact that they were all promoted together to deputy commissioner, the seniority that existed in the previous rank, assistant commissioner, has to be maintained. Let me understand this thing. You can't then lawfully or legally manipulate this thing to make anybody who you want to be senior and all of that. So I'm saying now, this is what the order should be. This is what the order should be. McBean as a senior deputy commissioner, he should be followed by Watts. He should be followed. Watts is Budram, Blanham, and then Karim Bosch. That should be the order. Let me repeat it. McBean is a senior deputy commissioner. He's followed by Watts. Watts is followed by Budram. Budram is followed by Blanham. Blanham is followed by Karim Bosch. That should be the seniority. So when I leave here, Selvin, I'm going to check the official Gazette to see what dates were provided, if any at all. What dates were. You see, these things are important. These things are important. And the thing that irks me is that people don't challenge these things. They're glad they get promoted. So even if they give a date, yesterday date or whatever day they promote, they're happy. But these things are important because they go towards your superannuation benefit. Apart from the seniority itself, it goes towards if the date. Again, let me say this. The deputy commissioners, the last set we had Williams. I think he was the last to retire. Before him, you had Graham, you had Paul, you had Alves, and right, you had an Appy. So the dates that these people are going to be given has to coincide with the dates when those people left. So normally that's right, promoted to deputy commissioner, Vide, so, who retired and da day. That is what should happen. So in the case where James retired on the 1st of May 2021, the thing should indicate that whoever is promoted to commissioner, Vide, in other words, he's replacing that person from the date. So it's a continuous thing in terms of the dates. But I don't know if they know that or if they're going to do that. So we got to look at all of those things. We got to look at all of those things. And that is how I'm saying I anticipate. I haven't seen it. If it's in the official Gazette, if I'm wrong, I will accept that I'm wrong. But I know that is the procedure. That is what should happen. You can't promote 4 men or 5 men to deputy commissioner and then juggle the seniority. The seniority in the previous rank is carried over into the new rank. That is what should happen. That is what should happen. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. We are almost running toward program time. Cece, what are your views on what I've just said and perhaps what Selvin said and so on? My crystal ball is saying that that's what I'm going to do. That's what my crystal ball is saying.
All right. I have the highest regards for Selvin. And he had the guts in order to take on the president, to take on Nanlal, and I think they have a good relationship. And I don't agree that they had meaningful consultation. But as you said, Paul, if you throw that aside, the conduct of the person you're going to appoint has got to come into play. You're talking about a police commissioner who has jurisdiction of 83,000 square miles, not 83,000, and all the inhabitants of Guyana. That is the man you want to be. I mean, he mightn't be a paragon of virtue, but he has got to be standing, and he can get too much baggage, too much of baggage. But let's come to you are right in terms of the dates, Paul. And let me read. It's not only whether in the public service rule. It is written in the Constitution, and let me go to it. I have it here. Is Article 211.6. Here it is, in this article, Reference to the office of Deputy Commissioner of Police are references to the office over style. The rank next in seniority in the police force after the office of police commissioner. And here it is. Provided that there are more than one office of deputy commissioner of police, and that if there are more than one office, the holders thereof shall rank among themselves according to the dates of their respective appointments. So the president made five, he made five deputy commissioners, but the rankings, and as you pointed out, the dates, McBean has got to be number one. But we had previously where they played 2020 and they reshuffled the baton order to suit themselves. You can't go and breach the constitution again. You can't just declare according to the dates against them. And if McBean has been an assistant commissioner before them, well then McBean has got to be the number one. That's how it got to be. And if Watts is number two, so be it. And if Budram, who they're favoring to become commissioner number three, that is it. But then in terms of promotion, you can take any one of the five there and make them commissioner. But in terms of ranking, in terms of seniority, McBean is the senior person. So that's how it is. But then, as you said, the crystal ball, and I didn't see it, is that I wouldn't be surprised if Budram becomes unconstitutionally the number one deputy commissioner.
Well, here, I guess there, CC, thank you, Selwyn. Selwyn just sent me a copy of the official Gazette, published on the 24th, what the date? Hold on. The thing gets sweeter and sweeter. It published the official on the 21st of December, 2024. 24. And here, what are the dates? You see, that's what I'm saying. Incompetence and corruption. Here, what the instrument says, that Ikin is promoted, the president goes on to the thing. Let me read it. The commissioner of police, with effect from the date of the instrument. Hear what it says. You see, again, we tell you the promotion is with effect from the date of the instrument. What is the date of the instrument, you may ask? The 19th day of December 2024. The date of the instrument, that is what the official Gazette, that's what the instrument is saying. The instrument, let me read one because it repeats all the rest. Let me read one. It says here, in exercise of the powers conferred upon me by Article 211(1) of the Constitution, I hereby appoint Clifton Anthony Ikin as Commissioner of Police with effect from the date of this instrument. And then it says, given under the hand the seal of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana at the office of the President, Georgetown, Guyana, this 19th day of December 2024 in the 55th year of the Republic. Bingo! That's what I tell you all. Bingo! So what happened to the period 4th of May when this James left the work, retired, when James retired, to the 19th day? That is the problem that we have. So you had no commissioner of police for a 4-year period. That is what the records are now will now reflect. That is all. So when you look on the board at the commissioner office there, if the board is properly written up, you're gonna see James up to the last day in April 2021, and then they ought to be now a gap between them on until it can from the 19th day of December 2024. That is what we're talking about, because all the deputy commissioners now get the same date. All the deputy commissioners now are the same date. And accountable, I don't know if that is listed. So that is what I'm saying. I know this thing. Yes, Carl, thank you very much. Because what should happen, and I don't think it's too late for them to correct it, but they're so arrogant and the hubris and trying to come off here, listen to what Sloan and Conway said. There's a vacancy for Commissioner of Police from the 1st of May 2021. In terms of the deputy commissioners, one got to take the appointment from Paul Williams. One has to take the appointment from Maxine Graham. One has to take the appointment from Nigel Appy. And one has to take the appointment from Lyndon Alves. 4. And then the other one, the most junior, has to be from a current date. That is how it should go. But they don't want to listen and learn. And again, it is not too late to correct that. They can always amend. Nonetheless, like to amend. And let them come and tell me that I'm wrong. Because I know that's what I'm telling you all the time. These things are just willy-nilly. They come, they want to they're going to promote, they're going to promote. But then they screw up everything now based on what the official Gazette. Again, Selwyn, thanks for sending it to me. Thanks for sending it during the program so I can explain to my students exactly how this thing works. They done mess it up here already. They done mess it up. Because a kin appointment takes effect from the 19th of December 2024. So all them months between 2021 when James come off and now, you not no commissioner. Appy was never even allowed to act. None. And now again, you have people, 4 deputy commissioners, as the law had required. They changed it to 5. But the people them who are now being appointed have to replace those who have gone off into retirement. I mentioned the name before. So the date that they proceeded on retirement, that is the day the people can forget. So they could get their money on the back pay and everything and get the proper, when they come to the time of the retirement, the superannuation benefits can be properly calculated. That is what you should have. The four and the order we call again, Mark Bean Watts, Budram Blanham. And then you're going to say, Karim Bash being the most junior man, he is perhaps from a current date. Nothing is wrong with that. Because there was never 5 deputy commissioners. It required 4. So you give this the top 4, the dates that those people came off. I hope, and you know, the sad thing is that these deputy commissioners are not going to represent themselves in this, you know. They're not going to represent themselves. They are not going to do so. And let me tell you the next crystal ball. I know we're over time, but bear with me. We're going to do it in the next 5 minutes. What the crystal ball is saying now. Now that these promotions have been made to deputy commissioner, this promotion that was held up since around May, June, early this year, right? They're going to promote people now, maybe December at the end of this month. They're going to give the go-ahead to the Police Service Commission to rubber stamp that list. So what's going to happen is that you're going to see all them people against whom allegations have been made and all of this type of thing. Look out all year's night for them being promoted. People against whom criminal allegations have been made. Because the Police Service Commission going to just rubber stamp that bishop that you have there, non rubber stamp. That is what I'm seeing. That is what I am seeing. So let me understand how this thing is going to work. As we had said last week, Wednesday, crystal ball, King and get promotion. It happened. I am saying now that next weekend, earliest night, perhaps even before that, sometime around then, the Police Service Commission is going to release that list. And on that list, let me say further, on that list, you have other people who have retired, who going to get promoted. Y'all mark the words. You get other people on that list that is going to come out in December. Now that the target might change them. But again, they got people who are on that leak list, who have retired and was there to be promoted. Jump in rank 2, and I suspect it's the same thing going to happen when you come to December. That's going to happen. And the president talking about unity and cooperation. How are we going to get unity and cooperation when all this nonsense is taking place? All this, that is not land Welsh word. All this nonsense is taking place. You're going to get unity and cooperation. More retired people can promote. More people who gone off or who should have gone off or who passed the age of retirement can get promoted at the end of the year. Let me bring in Mr. Conway for his closing remarks, and then we can wrap up. I'm going to wrap up. CC, let me hear you with the closing remarks, man.
I wouldn't be surprised if they promoted civilians too, you know, as they did the last time. But then with all the president said certain things, the president talked things and it's changed, Remember he rushed with breakneck speed, went into parliament and said, hey, $200,000 for household. And then next day, the second vice president say, hey, no, that is nothing. It's persons 18 years and above, So I wouldn't be surprised if things change, But as we say, there are things that persons has got to get a date. But then again, them deputy commissioner who they appoint will not fight for the date. They feel good, they turn deputy commissioner, and there's it. But then, and the promotion will gonna come up. Dr. Peter is going to come into play. Peter Principle, that they're going to resurrect Dr. Peter and promote a whole lot of incompetence. Woe be unto the Guyana Police Force, or may God help the Guyana Police Force.
Yeah, thank you, my brother. Thank you. And again, I know we can talk before the Christmas. Enjoy Christmas Day and the whole season. And I will make the same comment to the students. So I'm sure you want to wish the students Merry Christmas before you go.
Yes, I want to wish them a Merry Christmas, prosperous New Year, and may this be a peaceful, hold my breath, may this be a very peaceful Christmas in Guyana.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I want to wish you and your family all the best for the entire season. And stay safe, my brother. Stay safe.
Ditto.
Now, folks, let me show you this before we come off, and before I give you this what I'm showing you. You know what is this? This is a picture of teachers lining up for the $100,000. Look, teachers this morning. This is something current. Teachers. That is the type of indignity with which these people are treated. Why I show enough of them getting salary through the bank and all of that. Wait, you can't work out a better arrangement? You can't work out a better arrangement? It shows that people are in need, and that is what they're using, dangling over your head. That is what they're dangling over people's head. $100,000, $500, less than $500. And the president has the gall to tell people that they should use this $500 to create generational wealth. You have heard madness like that? They know what is the meaning of generational wealth. These people are lining up there because they need it for Christmas. And by New Year's, it's done. If they could have afforded to wait until after, you think they're going to go through all of this suffering for line up pay for hours maybe and crush? You're smelling some frowsy armpit and all this everything to get a measly $100,000? It is insulting. As I said, this is what's going on now. The picture was posted. I screen grab it and I put it there. This is what is going on now. It looks like the ministry on breakdown. Teachers line up like that. They have other pictures. I didn't get the time to do it. But that's what's going on. Folks, let me say this. I mean, it's depressing. But this is a season for joy and happiness. And I want to wish all of you, even the jagabat that came here and I had to knock you off. This is not a place to insult people and so on. You come, you want to exchange views, we allow it. If you want to come on social media and insult people, create your own arrangement, man. Create. But this speaking out will not tolerate them type of thing. We're not against people coming and giving a view that we don't agree with. Selvin came, Selvin made his view, I made my view, and we have a decent exchange, right? But don't come here to tell people they're talking shit and all them type of thing, right? So out you go. So Merry Christmas to all of you. When I leave here, I'm going to continue preparing my pepper pot. I have other chores to perform, and I hope you too have other chores. And even if you don't have any chores, just relax. Merry Christmas to all the students. And the question is being asked, no. We ain't got no program Christmas Day. A big no. I told you already, Christmas Day is a day to be merry and to relax and to eat in the morning with pepper pot and garlic pork and so on. And later on, I make me fry rice and me do my thing and so on. And I have an old relative that I have to make sure that she okay. So I can't drink during the course of the day, but later on, I'm going to enjoy myself. Nothing will stop me. Wonder how Brutus can spend the Christmas this year. Wonder how Brutus, wonder if he was trying to get to his family for Christmas. I'm being wicked now at the end. Wonder how he will spend this Christmas. God, they said Christmas you must be with your family and so on. So in closing, folks, there will be no program on Wednesday, which is Christmas Day. Stay tuned. We'll let you know when we are going to be coming here again. Subscribe to the channel. Follow the page on Facebook, and you're going to get notification when we have to come. You see the thing scrolling at the bottom there? It is say those who want to make a contribution. You get Zelle, you get Cash App. Please make your contribution. Again, my appreciation to all those who have been contributing, all those who have contributed. It is well accepted and appreciated. For those of you who have not, please, you want this program run. So make sure you do your part. Make sure that you do your part. The next thing I want to tell you, I know people in the UK and other places have been asking how they can make contribution. In the new year, we'll try to put systems in place to allow you to participate in a meaningful way. In a word, and allow you to make contributions. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Because I've been asked by several persons, what can they do? People in the UK and all these people. Again, I want to say, folks, enjoy your Christmas. When we meet again, it's going to be after Christmas. Stay safe. Only yesterday, they had a big fire in New Amsterdam. A massive fire there at a building next to Church View Hotel, massive fire. Stay safe. You get robberies. We ain't got time to talk about it today, but we're going to talk about it. Yeah, Evelyn, we might get a white Christmas indeed, because in those of you who live in New York and those places, it's forecast to get some snow tomorrow. No snow on Christmas Day. So be safe. If you're in the cold, make sure that you bundle up. Make sure that you bundle up. Folks, we have had a good morning. We have gone over time by almost 15 minutes, and I think you will appreciate that it was worth the while. So I want to wish all of you a Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas. And I've said, enjoy it with your family, your significant other, whoever it is. Enjoy the day and be safe. So until we meet again, whenever that is, be safe and enjoy. Bye. The program you don't even want to end. Yeah, right.